You're listening to WTJU Charlottesville. For Arts This Week, we chatted with Joshua Trevorrow, the First Nations Arts and Cultural Manager at Country Arts South Australia. He talks about his upcoming screening of Nunga Screen at the Violet Crown on August 7th. Tell us a bit about yourself and your work.
Thank you, firstly, very much for having me and for all the support. It's incredible. I'd like to start, as always, by acknowledging the Kaurna people, these traditional lands I'm meeting on today, and I extend my respect to their elders, past and present, and acknowledge their deep and spiritual connection with the lands and waters of this area that I live and work. My name is Joshua Trevorrow. I'm a Nudinjeri man, so I descend from the saltwater people on the south coast of South Australia, right down the bottom. I'm the First Nations Arts and Culture Manager for Country Arts SA. I'm a film producer and the curator and programmer of Nunga Screen.
How has your identity as a Nyarinjeri man and your role as a First Nations Arts and Culture Manager shaped your vision for Nunga Screen over the years?
Firstly, as a Nudinjeri man, it's an incredible opportunity to showcase all First Nations Australians' shared stories and I guess amplifying their unique voices and sharing that depth of storytelling. There are many different nations and language groups across the country, but in a lot of ways that's brought us all together, and we have a lot of shared experiences that have come out of that. And yeah, I think it's just an incredible opportunity for me to work with a lot of those First Nations filmmakers, in particular here. It's just incredible to elevate their voices through the medium of film, which I've always felt is just such an incredibly diverse medium of storytelling and allows us to inform and educate while sort of entertaining. Films that universal language that everyone understands.
What is one obstacle you've had to overcome when corroborating between many diverse voices in a way that allows you to do justice to this project?
Yeah, what I always try to focus on primarily is a diversity of films within the program. Where we've often struggled is for our young viewers. There is not a lot of First Nations film for young viewers, and I think that's really important for our young First Nations kids here to see themselves reflected on screen. A large portion of our Nunga Screen screenings are actually schools, so we try to program around 50% of the program to be engaging for young viewers, and then the second half of the program often contains sort of, I suppose, themes for more mature audiences.
What would you say was the best method you've found to strike a balance, like you said, without compromising the integrity of the stories that you're telling?
A lot of these filmmakers that feature in Nunga Screen have only made, it may be their first short film. And I think that's just really important for us to remember with the program, is to just keep providing the opportunities to elevate the voices of those filmmakers and get them exposure. We pay the filmmaker a license fee to broadcast the film for the length of the program, and then we also do a royalty share of all funds raised through our foundation, through the Country Arts SA Foundation as well. So it actually gets some money back to the filmmakers as well, and hopefully they continue their journey.
You've led documentary workshops and helped support emerging First Nations filmmakers. How does this educational work tie into the broader mission of Nunga Screen? And what growth have you witnessed in your participants and even in your own work?
For me, it's actually about creating opportunities for First Nations filmmakers and creatives that don't necessarily just want to be key creatives. Where we have a particular skills shortage here and is in production. We have a lack of First Nations producers, and in particular in Australia, working with non-Aboriginal producers can often potentially lead to some issues around cultural safety and really just maintaining that authenticity of voice for those creatives as well.
And what is one piece of advice that you would give to any aspiring filmmakers or project managers that want to capture and tell the stories of other underserved communities?
Something we always talk about is respectful collaboration and listening and leaning in, and when working with any diverse groups of filmmakers, is that the relationship can quite easily become extractive. So respectfully engaging and saying, how can we work together? It's not about what we can take, it's about what we can give, and that reciprocal nature.
Thank you so much. And where can listeners find more of your work?
Look, as I say, we're working on a feature-length documentary at the moment, and we're having some very, very good conversations with our national broadcaster here, the ABC, around a television broadcast and a festival premiere next year here that will get some sort of streaming or worldwide release access eventually.
To learn more about Joshua Trevorrow and his work at Nunga Screen, visit countryarts.org.au. The Violet Crown in downtown Charlottesville will be hosting a screening of Nunga Screen at 7 p.m. Arts This Week is supported by the UVA Arts Council and Piedmont Virginia Community College. PVCC Arts presents a rich array of dance, music, theater, and visual arts programming. Learn more at pvcc.edu. For WTJU, I'm Pooja Viswesh.